Hi.
Happy Fursuit Friday!
Happy Fursuit Friday, Sakonko.
And Happy New Year, everyone!
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Okay. So anyhow, we've watched quite a few movies that we haven't had a chance to talk about, so we're gonna do a bunch of movie reviews in one here. We don't have, obviously we don't have all of them on physical media, so we have what we have. So I'm wearing a shirt in representation of the new Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. At least that's my interpretation of what this shirt is signifying. I got to show Azurean the movie Cold Pursuit. We finally did get to see Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. And there's the original we talked about in a previous video. And we got another movie over here I'll talk briefly about afterwards. So what would you like to start?
Let's talk about this one, because I feel bad showing this. Only a little, because we saw Knives Out too, or Glass Onion.
A Knives Out mystery.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the linkage between the movies would be the investigator played by Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Whose name I forgot, character name.
Oh no.
I'm terrible. No, you know what? I do remember it. He plays... you keep talking.
Oh, okay. Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc. How could I forget that alliteration?
I know, right? So good.
It's kind of like Sakonko the. They both begin with a T. Wait a minute, there's no alliteration there.
So anyhow, in the new movie, it has such actors as Dave Bautista and help me out here. What's the other guy's
Ed Norton.
name? Edward Norton. Yes.
And Julio Iglesias.
Is he?
No, I made that one up.
Who do we see had a cameo in the movie?
There is a surprise cameo by one of my favorite, in name anyway, actors, Ethan Hawke.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
He played the main antagonist.
There was also a few celebrity cameos that showed up at the beginning. Sadly, two of them were late cameos. They were the ones who were playing a certain famous game with Benoit. They called him out on not being very good at it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc is on his laptop in his bathtub in his not very luxurious-looking apartment, and he's playing again, or he's at least talking about he was playing Among Us.
Yes.
With 4 celebrity cameos, all of which...
that's right. There were 4. There were 4 celebrities. But 2 of them have passed, though.
Yes, one of them is Natasha. I forget her last name.
Leggero? No, not Leggero.
Yeah, she's from Orange is the New Black and Russian Doll.
Okay.
Sounds right. Then there was...
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was in the Bruce Lee movie.
Game of Death.
Game of Death, yeah. And Airplane.
Yes.
And
very good movie. You should watch it if you haven't.
Great movie. We'll review it someday. If we haven't already, I don't know. Okay, the one I want to mention last, but there was one more.
I can't think of his name now. Oh, shoot.
I don't remember. I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah, it was somebody you weren't familiar with. They also passed this past year, though. Oh, darn it.
Well, the last one that I wanted to mention that was like, oh, goodness, was Margaret Thatcher.
What?
Not Margaret Thatcher. Oh, my God, I always say the name wrong. Angela Lansbury.
Yes, Angela Lansbury. Murder, She Wrote.
They exist in the same headspace for me. So for no reason at all. I think it's because I learned both of their names at the same time in my childhood.
Okay.
And they have forever been linked. But yeah, she did Murder, She Wrote. So she played a detective, murder detective on television.
Yes.
So that was a very, very fitting cameo.
Indeed.
I wish I could remember the last guy. But they are all just razzing him about losing the game of Among Us. And he's
very quickly too.
Yeah,
he's like, "Whoa, it's over already."
Yeah, he basically loses right off the bat.
Yeah, evidently he doesn't know how to be an imposter in the game. So, but yeah, it's also a setup for the fact that as smart as he is, he's not very knowledgeable in simple
things. He can't solve simple puzzles. He can solve very intricate, complex puzzles.
Yes.
But simple ones like,
how to play Among Us.
Among Us, he thinks is kind of stupid that he just doesn't grasp it.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Kind of comes into play later. Not exactly comes into play, but is sort of, oh, that's neat. That's a thing.
Yeah. But anyhow, the premise of the movie is that a very group of celebrities are invited to an island retreat for a getaway and a murder mystery. The host, Edward Norton, has arranged for a murder mystery scenario where he will be killed, and the guests will have to try to solve it. And Benoit Blanc has been invited, seemingly.
Yeah.
And
no spoil. Should we do spoilers?
Yeah,
on Netflix. It's new.
Yes, you should go see it. You should absolutely see it.
You should absolutely see it. It's wonderful. Everybody's great in it. I know that Ed Norton has a history of being overbearing in productions. So
yeah,
this movie came out really good. So I'm guessing that his involvement was amicable.
I sure hope so.
Indeed.
But do you think it lives up to the original?
I think it does. I prefer the original only because, it was the original. But
it was a little more. The original was a little more grounded as well.
Yes, this one was a little more because they could go more over the top. The characters were more eccentric.
It was also because Netflix money.
Yeah,
they were able to get more money involved and have more high profile people like Batista and Norton.
Yeah, it also helped separate the differentiate the settings. The first movie is a bunch of serious rich types.
Yes, and also there was no celebrity cameos in the original, right?
There was no in universe celebrity cameos.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And
Yo-Yo Ma also shows up for a 30-second cameo as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I think it definitely lives up to the first movie. Great addition. And there's going to be, I think, plenty of people who like it more than the first.
And there's also said they're going to make another.
Yes, there's going to be at least one more. I think maybe, I heard they might do even more. They'll just keep using the same character. Mm-hmm. And after a couple of movies, they'll switch them out, make a whole franchise that lasts about 40 years.
Well, they could do that. Absolutely.
That's a James Bond reference.
Oh, aha, ha, ha.
But seriously, I mean, who knows? It focuses on the character of the detective Benoit Blanc, and as long as he's around, the movies will always be tied together.
Indeed.
Okay, then we want to talk about...
Next, we have... this is actually the movie we're talking about. Cold Pursuit, starring Liam Neeson. This is a movie that I had seen before, and I very much enjoyed, and I wanted to share with Azurean, who had not seen it.
Yes, I had not, because I try to stay away from cold, so I didn't want to go after this, and I was afraid I would, put myself too much in the movie and then thusly be cold.
Okay.
Or it was going to be a game show about cold things, like Trivial Pursuit, only with the cold. Now, really, though, it is Liam Neeson, and I've liked everything of Liam Neeson's I think I've ever seen him in.
Even some of the more mediocre movies he's been in, he was still great.
Yes, he's always wonderful. Obviously, Taken is a franchise that I think a lot of newer people know him from. Even though, I have mixed feelings because I feel like the first one was really strong and the rest were just straight cash grabs with no heart. But I
mean, we did, didn't we review the movie Commuter that he was in?
Yes, we did.
Which, hey, fitting the theme of A&E in 2 weeks.
Yes?
We'll be at Anthro New England in 2 weeks from now.
Yay! What was the first thing you saw Liam Neeson's in?
Oh, Star Wars.
Really?
Probably?
The first thing I ever saw him in was Darkman, and I loved it.
No, it's probably still Star Wars. I think I saw Darkman after that.
I didn't even know that at the time. I didn't really know much about Sam Raimi. But going back going back watching it as an adult, you can see it.
But yeah, I might have been something I saw before Star Wars, but I just don't really remember it too well. But yeah, if I did see it again after, it would have been after that type of thing. But anyway, so yeah, I don't remember which of these names are the famous names in here. So I'm just gonna list them all. Tom Bateman, Tom Jackson, Emily Rossum, Dominic Lombardozzi, Julia Jones, John Doman, and Laura Dern.
I've heard of Laura Dern.
Yes.
I don't know anything else she's been in.
A few of those other names sounded familiar, but yeah, there are a few actors who are somewhat known, but yeah, mostly it's a Liam Neeson held picture.
Yes. Dark comedy.
Yes, it is a very dark comedy. The basic story is he is a what do you call that? Snowplow driver for.
It's in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
Yes, and he's just blazing pathways through.
Yes.
8 feet high snow.
It is an amazing thing to watch him do his job, even as mundane as it is. I don't know. Do you think this would be a fun job to do? I mean,
surely wouldn't want to do it.
It's certainly isolating and and such, but as long as you know how to do it, I wouldn't think that there'd be any issues other than loneliness type of thing.
Yeah.
But you had a companion there with you, it'd be a lot better. But anyhow, the plot revolves around the fact that a loved one of his is taken away from him, and he is so depressed about the situation that he almost ends his life until he finds out that it was foul play, and he does
foul play.
He will do nothing. Nothing will get in his way to exact his revenge against those who did him wrong.
When it comes to working in the snow, he has a particular set of rules.
Yes, indeed. Now, all that may sound very familiar, as you mentioned Taken earlier. There is definitely a bit of that stigma with Liam Neeson, as he is often roped into one of these sort of stories. But this one, I definitely think is done in a very different way, in that he is not some sort of, expert assassin or anything like that. He's just a normal guy
who's really angry,
and he's got nothing to lose at this point. So he's going for broke, as it were, and trying to avenge his loved one. And just the amount of brutality that happens, and the villain of the story is actually fairly interesting, I'd say. It's definitely one of the few times where I can say a villain in one of these kind of stories actually comes across as being realistic, I'd say. I mean, he's a dick.
What?
Let's just say that. But he is a very you could kind of see his why he is like that, and so on and so forth. I don't know how much you agree with me, but it was very interesting. And the other big thing is Native Americans have a significant part to play in the story as well.
They do, yes. It is nice to see. They are a very serious and strong and tight-knit group, and they kind of get mixed up with this whole thing. They originally weren't involved, and through a series of mistaken. There are a series of circumstances where the intent and the actor was misinterpreted, or the bad guy suspected the wrong other guy,
Yes.
and then it ended up becoming like a three-way fight.
Yes.
It's very interesting. You should watch it if you like seeing people get hurt and die, but they're all bad people. Yes, but they were all bad.
Also, not entirely unrelated, but I got to show you the movie Serious Flanders, or the two-part Simpsons special, Serious Flanders, which was basically a take that to like Netflix movies. And yeah, even if you haven't watched The Simpsons in years, I recommend you looking into it. It is on Disney Plus. They have put both episodes together, and it acts like a Treehouse of Horror style thing where it is non-canon to the story, so things that normally couldn't or wouldn't happen in the normal show happen.
Yes, indeed.
And by that, I mean people die.
Yes, in bloody and graphic ways sometimes.
So, yeah, if you are into that sort of thing and you used to watch Simpsons, definitely check it out if you have access to Disney Plus. It is really, really cool. Did you want to talk about this one first, or did you want to talk about...
We can mention Phantom Tollbooth.
Okay.
It is... So
I really don't care for the cover they gave it here.
Yeah.
It is not very representative of the movie.
No. The character designs are definitely match what is in the movie.
Yes, of course. But that
particular scene does not actually seem to be in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, the three characters do travel together, but that is like not fully representative of the movie. But anyhow, the movie stars Butch Patrick, who's the boy in there.
Who's Butch Patrick?
Butch Patrick was famously Eddie Munster.
Oh.
He's also been in a bunch of other things, but that's probably the thing most people would have known him for. I know Lionel is a big fan of Butch Patrick. He's got an autographed photo of him. But yeah, also the artwork in the animation is Chuck Jones. A very famous art style. There's definitely a lot in this movie where you can see either what it was inspired by or what it inspired. I'm actually not sure the chronology of when things came out. This is a fairly old movie. I mean, Butch Patrick is still a kid at the time, so it kind of tells you something there. What can I find the year?
He's an old man now.
Oh,
if he's still alive. Is he dead?
I don't think so.
Alexa.
Okay.
She can't hear me.
So also the voices of Mel Blanc.
Yes, it's so weird.
Dawes Butler. Let's see, June Foray. Patty Gilbert, Shep Menken.
You're
Cliff
losing
Norton.
your children, Sikonko.
Yeah, so definitely, a lot of voice actors from back in the day were in this. June Foray is famously Granny, and from the Sylvester and Tweety, as well as Rocky the Flying Squirrel, and she was also the original Magic and Dispel in DuckTales. Yeah.
And don't forget Mel Blanc, who voiced Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
It's so weird to hear Bugs Bunny's
everybody
voice.
from the Looney Tunes.
It was a lot of Looney Tunes characters, and it's so weird to hear what is exactly Bugs Bunny's voice
and
from another character.
I doubt Anthro watches my videos, but I know he's mentioned Dawes Butler before. I don't remember who he voices, but I was like, I definitely recognized something in there of him. So forgive me for forgetting Dawes Butler if you're actually watching. But yeah, he's definitely an old-timey actor who's fairly well known, at least as far as I've recognized the name. But yeah, very fun movie. It's one of the few animation live-action hybrid movies that I am aware of. It's bookended by live action, and it turns into animation. And it's about a bored kid who lives in a time before video games.
Yeah,
because it's like he's like so bored. I wish there was something to do. It's like if you had video games, you'd be playing video games right now. You know it.
Yeah. See, that was the one thing that even for the time kind of gets me. I mean, yes, the talking on the phone part was very accurate to a time where video games, growing up, they existed for me, but they weren't everything. But he like goes to this reality warped animated world, and yes, it does seem to actually be like distinctly animated. It's not like, oh, this is just what the audience sees. No, the kid sees it too, like this weird animated stuff. And he's like not phased. And he's like, oh, you know what? This is so weird. This isn't really that interesting. I'm like, you went to a whole new reality. The
opening scene where he first turns into animation, he's like doing one of those things where he's like
looking back and forth, and there's basically a split screen.
Yeah.
Where when he's on one side of the toll booth, it's animated. The other side is live action.
Yeah. So he's like doing one of those things where he's
I liked it a lot.
Doing this, doing that with his hands, his feet, and his head.
And then the booth gets annoyed. It's like, just go already.
Yeah. The one downside to that is like there's not really much explanation given as to like why he's chosen or how it shows up, but otherwise it is targeting young boys who lack a sense of adventure, wonder about knowledge.
Yes, and it does seem to appear to excessively bored kids.
Yes.
There's a whole thing later, but it's like, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland if there were no stakes.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland was a different case, though, as she imagined it, seemingly.
Yeah, she seems
Spoilers for even older animation there.
It seems like she imagined it, but later revisitings to the lore seem to suggest that, she really did go there.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
But
in any case...
In
any case, he ends up going to this animated world where basically he gets to learn to appreciate some of the finer points that his school class was trying to teach him, which I did not pick up on originally. It was this time watching it that I finally picked up on this. But in the opening sequence, he's bored in school, and like a lot of these things that the teachers are just like spouting out at him, that he's just like goes in one ear and out the other, are all things that end up coming up in his adventure as being useful to help him. And it's like, oh, hey. It's a semi-educational movie. It's got some really catchy songs, and like I said, some really good animation from Chuck Jones, and great voice acting from classic cartoon voice actors. Not sure how available it is. I know that it was really strange. This DVD it goes right to a menu that says play movie, and that's it. It's still image of a like a marquee.
What is a DVD?
Digital video disc. But anyhow, that it with no trailers other than like the do not steal this movie type of thing. There was nothing else on there. It was such a bizarre experience loading it up. I actually had ordered it a while back. I had wanted to watch it with Lionel, but he had never had interest in it. And you had just said, "Hey, pick a movie. We'll watch it."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It's late. I want to watch a short movie, and you seem to have no interest in picking things, and you always pass this one up, so I'm picking that one. All right, so yeah, we can find a way to watch it. It might even be on YouTube. I have no idea. I had not looked. But yeah, definitely check that out if anything of what we just talked about interests you. But lastly, we've got to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
My first wish is that I never went to see this travesty of a movie. I wish they would do more. No, I'm just kidding. I thought the movie was pretty much perfect.
Yes.
It's pretty much, to me,
And
being a discerning movie watcher, it really didn't leave me wanting after. Like, it gave me everything.
Oh, wow.
And
this was your first interaction with the character, right?
Yes. I had seen the first Shrek movie.
Which he is not in, so...
Yes, and I also saw, like, a still, like, storybook-style video of I guess it was a Universal Studio Park ride.
Oh, yeah, okay.
On Fiona and Shrek's honeymoon, where Prince Farquaad comes back as a ghost to mess with them. Oh,
kidding.
Come on.
I'm kidding.
These people probably don't even know it exists. But
it might not exist anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, it might not exist anymore. It was a long time ago.
But anyhow, so you had never seen any of the Puss in Boots content before. I have seen all 4 numbered Shrek movies, as well as the Puss in Boots movie. I have not seen the Puss in Boots short movie that they did. But yeah, I was very familiar with the character. Was very excited for this movie to come out. It had been stuck in due to COVID. It had been it didn't release until just now, this past Christmas. And I'm wondering if they used that extra time to tweak the movie and make it better.
I think they did.
Because there was at least one moment in the trailer that they removed and replaced with a new scene.
I think it's okay to say, because it was in the trailer, and I don't think it ruins anything. And I always like being told, hey, this scene's not in the movie, because then I don't sit around waiting for it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of obvious that it wasn't there, since it's specifically part of this sequence. But
I saw that trailer, and I did not remember that part.
Okay.
Are we going to say it?
Yeah.
Okay, so his death number 7, as it seems to be labeled, in the trailer, is him being squashed by a sumo wrestler.
Yes.
And it was fully rendered.
It was quite out of place, in my opinion. That was the only one that seemed really strange.
I think it's supposed to be a non sequitur type of thing. It's just,
I agree.
Oh, here's a silly way for him to die.
Yeah.
It is not number 7. It's been replaced by what I would consider a far superior.
Agreed.
Only because it includes a cameo.
Indeed.
And it's really fun to see the cameos. So, although, I should say that do not expect the Shrek gang to show up in this one.
Yes.
Don't expect it. It's not. They're not even in the same area.
So the other big thing is. The story focuses on him trying to come to terms with this is his final life.
Yes.
The trailer has pointed out he has used up 8 of his 9 lives, and what is he gonna do? Yeah,
and it's about him coming to terms with his own mortality and basically growing up.
Yes.
And learning to become the best version of himself. And honestly, and then there's a whole slew of characters that join.
Indeed.
There's there's 2 major villains, really. They aren't working together. They each have every group has their own agenda.
Indeed. And one of them was never mentioned in the trailers at all.
Yes.
So going into it, this character showing up was a complete and utter surprise, and they were fantastic.
They were delightful. I loved every single character, but the villain never let me disappoint. I kept bracing myself to cringe at his cringiness, and it never happened.
Agreed.
I was thoroughly impressed.
There's also, nursery rhyme and fairy tale references galore. Yes. So if you're very well versed in fairy tales and and those sorts of things, you're gonna notice references everywhere in some of these scenes, especially in the character that we're alluding to. There's a lot of references, some of which, might go over some people's heads, even older people.
But it won't keep you from enjoying them.
Yes, indeed.
They're all good characters on their own, regardless.
But, and even some, mythology things, now that I'm thinking about
fable. I think there's a fable or 2 in there.
So, yeah, it's
not just fairy tales.
It is a very, very well thought out, story, and yeah, definitely recommend you go see it in the theater. Do we want to talk about the one downside we felt about the movie?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah. The only thing, and this is thing that, I mean, if you're thinking of the same thing, I'm actually not sure this time.
Yeah, I think we are.
The thing that I didn't like is the over-style, and you could see it in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's the over-stylized fight scenes.
It wasn't as obvious in the trailer, I felt,
Yes.
but there's at least one or two scenes in the movie where...
They do the, Into the Spider-Verse frame rate,
yes.
More like...
frame rate thing.
Yeah, and while the fights are amazing, the choreography
Indeed.
is amazing, and I find a lot of fight choreography in anything animated is usually very lacking.
Yeah.
Regardless of the quality of the production company or the quality of the show. But it was like, I don't really feel, I'm not an artist, okay, but I think it would have looked better if they just kept the frame rate the same.
You're an amateur artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. That was the only thing that was a little jarring. They could have, if they had, like, the frame rate had never dropped at any point. Which, again, it wasn't like it was an unintentional thing. It seemed to be fairly intentional.
It's very intentional. Every time the action heated up, it happened.
But, other than that, the story, the humor, the characters, everything was phenomenal. And, I get the feeling it's going to be, a movie that's going to be revisited a lot more than some other movies that are out right now.
I think it's going to be more memorable than Shrek.
It's contentious for, being movie of the year.
Yes. I think it is easily one of the best movies I've ever seen, overall. I've seen a ton of movies. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. I've seen Eraserhead, for example.
Okay.
I have seen Citizen Kane.
Okay.
And these are both highly revered movies. I've even listened to the radio broadcast, a good portion of the radio broadcast of War of the Worlds. This movie was far more entertaining than all of those put together. And
all those old black and white boring movies
that people still act like they're the greatest things ever, and I'm like, they were amazing, and they made a huge mark, and what makes them amazing is the time period they were released in.
Agreed.
But when you compare it to other... the overall entertainment value of those movies, I think, was... 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Throw that in there.
That's actually a better one to give an example.
Yeah.
It says it's more... It's in color.
Yes.
But anyhow...
Boots is, way above those entertainment value.
You mentioned Shrek. Shrek was filled with a lot of dated pop culture references that I think hurt its rewatchability at some.
Yes.
So like when they start doing overt references to the Matrix, which I'm trying to remember. Like I guess the Matrix was fairly new at the time. Was it like a couple years?
Yeah,
maybe?
It was still very well received.
But going back and you see that scene, it's like, that's a little bit. It throws you off a little bit. But in this movie, I don't recall there being anything that felt, referencing to modern pop culture. Any of the references were to, time-worn classic, stories and characters. And mythology and stuff that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and then there's a cat lady in there. She's in the trailer, so it's like they're referencing types of people and situations, like you said, time periods. It's not about pop culture. Probably not devoid of it, but
I can't think of anything in the movie that was like, oh, that's just an Avengers reference, or that's just. Whatever, a Murder, She Wrote joke or something like nothing like that happens.
Yes, and we got to talk about the wolf. He is amazing.
Oh, okay.
That's all. That's all you got to see. You see what you see in the trailers. You get that even more, and he's so good.
Indeed.
So good on screen, in every scene.
This movie and The Bad Guys are both DreamWorks movies. And they are both being highly regarded as being some of the best animated movies that came out in 2022. But I do think I agree that this movie better.
Yeah.
As much as I did like The Bad Guys,
And,
it did have a few more glaring issues that I was willing to overlook. But yeah, I definitely think, unlike The Bad Guys, which definitely skews more to a younger audience to enjoy the film, this movie can be enjoyed by everybody.
Absolutely.
The kids are going to enjoy it, and the adults are going to enjoy it. There's not like a whole lot of like, oh man, I got to sit through this while the kids are getting this thrown at them.
Killjoy that doesn't like having fun.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so there you go. There's a whole bunch of movies we saw this past holiday. Is there anything else you had to add?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Bye.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you liked our movie reviews. Hope if you've seen any of these movies, let us know in the comments what you thought of those movies. If
I thought they were good.
If what we said has made you want to look into trying to watch them yourself, also let us know. Be glad to know that we've swayed you into wanting to go check any of these movies out. And yeah, like I said, in 2 weeks we'll be at Anthro New England in Boston, Massachusetts. So yeah, if you're going, hopefully we can get a picture. And yeah, check us out on twitch.tv/transientplayer, twitch.tv/Takanko the Fanda. I've been trying to work on some of my Twitch stuff, so hopefully I'll be having some new stuff for that soon. You'll be streaming a little bit later tonight, yeah?
Check out my new analog pocket.
Like right now, I think.
Yes, as soon as the Takanko's done.
So yeah, see you then. Bye bye. Happy First Day Friday.
Bye.
Bye.